I'm Amy, sex educator, sex and relationship coach, and co-owner of PurePleasureShop.com.
I'm April, VP of the cutting-edge sex toy company Hot Octopus, and I dedicate my life to the business of sex.
We are on a mission to teach you how to have hot sex, deep intimacy, and how to make your own rules for who you are as a sexual being.
Welcome to the Shameless Sex Revolution. Want to learn more? Go to shamelesssex.com.
And for 15% off of some of our favorite sex toys, use code SHAMELESSSEX at PurePleasureShop.com.
You were listening to a pleasure podcast. For more from our sex podcast collective, visit pleasurepodcasts.com.
Well, hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody. I can't stop doing
It's still
that.
anal August.
I know, that's why I did it.
The anal gangbang. We need an
Anal
episode just on
August.
anal gangbangs.
Anal August, anal April.
Anal gangbang sounds like a lot for the anus.
Don't you think we need another month just to celebrate anal?
I haven't had anal sex this month.
Why?
My ass has been a little shy. I've had like fingers and even with mouths, actually, it's been like a little ticklish and shy.
It's all closed up.
Yeah, it's all. That's wrong with saying it. More like something like
That
that.
sounded like a Scooby snack.
Oh God.
Oh, man.
That's fun.
That's good.
Okay, well, anyways, this is not an anal. Well, we have a sex question about anal, but this episode is Master Mouth Class with Samaya Burton of the Sexual Essentials.
Sexual essentials.
I was going to say that's true. These
sexual essentials.
Yeah, it's going to be like .com. Yeah, actually it is thesexualessentials.com. She was on our podcast talking about dick riding 101
No,
episode.
you didn't say it right. It's diaka riding.
Oh, sorry. Diaka Riding 101, episode 223. She's awesome. And guess what, everyone? We're adding videos to YouTube, and this video is on our Shameless Sex Podcast YouTube. She is there with her beautiful breasts. She even has a dildo, maybe shows you a thing or two. Go check it out. Follow us or subscribe. I think you subscribe on YouTube. We want more fans.
You subscribe?
I'm pretty sure it's subscribe on YouTube.
Wow.
Like there's subscribers.
And like us. Give us a thumbs up.
Can we get a thumbs up?
Can we get a thumb in the butt?
Yeah. Or two maybe.
Or
maybe
a
three.
pinky?
Ooh. Two in the pink one.
Two in the
stick.
pink one.
All right. Anyways. Oh, you know what I wanted to share with y'all? I already shared a little bit with April, but guess what I found out? I was a death witch in my past life.
Yeah. This is... I sent you a message today. I was like, what's up, death witch? Don't put a curse on me.
Ooh, I did a session. Actually, we did an episode with Jen Velmer, who's also my neighbor.
I think she's seriously such a medicine human.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. She's like a healer, and I love you. But you did that session, and you could not. You left me like a 15-minute Marco Polo. I was like, oh, my. And then it like cut off. I was like, I'm holding on. Like, I want to hear more.
Well, it's an intuitive ancestral healing session. So if you're not if you're not a believer of energy, then, well, good luck to you. But I'm a big believer. I'm a heady person, too. I'm a skeptic.
Sir Isaac Newton.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Energy.
2
words for you.
Energy.
That was 3 syllables.
Anyways, so Jen, if you want to learn more from her, you can go listen to episode 192. It's on Want More Pleasure, Choose You with Jen Velmer. But I did a session with her, and so she does intuitive ancestral healing sessions. And I won't go too deep into it, but we did this in-person session here, and she was like, "Okay, I'm really into past life stuff." And she's like, "We're in a past life right now. It's 13th century, and you're some sort of death doula, like you're helping people transition from their living bodies to the afterlife. And oh my God, they're calling you a witch. And now they're torturing you. Oh my God. And they're torturing you for like almost a year. And it's really bad. It's really bad." I'm like, oh my God. But there's some things I'm not going to go too deep into it, that really spoke to like who I am today. Like, and I, if you don't believe in past lives, that's your jam. I'm a big the teeth thing. I have this reoccurring dream. The only reoccurring dream I have is about teeth either falling out, breaking, or I'm pulling gum, like literal gum, chewing gum, out of my gums for like hours. It just keeps going,
Like a magic trick.
But not. It's like pulling my teeth out at the
Yeah.
same time. And she said that my teeth were being. I didn't tell her that. And she said my teeth were being broken and pulled out of my jaw. All this weird stuff. So, anyways,
It's dark, but this episode's not dark.
no, this episode's awesome.
Now Amy's the sexual shamey. She's not shamey.
I'm not
She's
shamey.
Amy.
No, I'm not shamey, but I was tortured. So no wonder I'm a tortured soul. But
In
that's
13th
okay.
century.
We're all a little tortured.
I wonder where you lived.
I don't know. That's a good
Macedonia?
question. No, that's next week's episode.
Okay, sorry.
Next week's episode was also great. All these episodes are awesome, but Samaya is amazing. That was my little rant about the fact that I like it. I'm a witch. I think that you were too, though, in a past life.
I think
wanna
I was
know.
a witch. I think I was a warrior.
I think you're a warrior, but we have this story that you and I did like badass things together. We were probably doing witch shit. But witch in a good way. It has this negative connotation, like, ooh, you're murdering people with your witchy stuff.
Just go watch Practical Magic, okay? And
this podcast is not sponsored by Practical Magic. Are you ready for a sex question, my witch friend?
Yes, please. I haven't even read it.
It's about the anal. So it starts with, thanks for the Anal August podcast. Well, we actually have 2 Anal August podcasts, but that's cool. My wife and I listened to it as we always listen to you both. My wife and I had a bit of a disagreement though after the episode, and I just don't enjoy the idea of giving anal to her. I've learned to be okay with fingers and toys, and that has taken a lot of work and time for me, but she's insistent that something is wrong with me for not wanting anal or not wanting to give anal. Nothing about it turns me on. It does, they're doing the little air quote things, make me happy to see how much she enjoys it, and that's been the area that's helped me warm up to toys and fingers. I've tried penetration with my penis, though, and I really just don't like it at all. Any advice on how to change this about me? Because I want to be a great partner.
I know that you're going to have some incredible things to say about this. I would have this listener refer to our episode with Eric Everhard.
That's what they were listening to.
Oh.
That's what they're talking about.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
And
I assume, although we did an episode from the bottom, so yeah, I don't know which one they listened to.
Right.
So continue.
Depending on which episode you listen to, if it was the Eric Everhard episode, he does talk about how the sensation on the cock when you're actually penetrating anally, there's sometimes not a lot of sensation, right? Because if the ass is open and there's a lot of relaxation. Yeah, it's not as tight. So
Eric also has the tapered cock.
Oh,
so remember on the head is more narrow and then it gets wider towards the base. And so when he's all the way inside an ass, the head, which has the most nerve endings on the cock, doesn't get as much stimulation. It's in the abyss of a rectum.
And what I would say to this person, my kind of advice is this. If your partner likes anal and you're not enjoying being the giver, you could always give your vulva-owning partner, it sounds like, the anal penetration with a product, like a toy or fingers or some sort of a product that's anal safe, of course. So it has a stopper of some sort and a vibrator or a plug, and you could penetrate vaginally, and then you'll get the stimulation that it sounds like you mostly enjoy. Because you asked about how to change this about you. I'm not sure if there's something that you can change if that's something that you're not enjoying or doesn't feel good to you. I don't know if you need to change that per se. If it's something that your wife really enjoys, then try a product inside.
My question's for this person because they didn't really state why they're not into it. It doesn't turn you on. They said that nothing about it turns me on. So I guess they are stating that it's not about the sensation. It just really doesn't turn me on. And I've actually had a partner before who wasn't into anal. They didn't want to do anything anal, not with their butt, not with my butt, which was fine. That was their jam. And for them, they were like, it's an exit only. It has poop in it. It's just not like sexy to me. And I think that that's perfectly fine because if that's how you feel, just like we get to choose what we're into and what we're not into. Some people like golden showers. A lot of people don't. And we don't get to decide that for someone else. You should like golden showers. That's the standard. There's something wrong with you if you don't. And I'm not shaming your partner. I think what your partner is probably a little confused because they're like, most dudes are really excited to stick a cock in the ass, but not all of them are. So like April said, I don't know if I agree. I don't really know if this is something that you change about yourself. If it really doesn't turn you on, that it's probably not your jam, and you can do other things like April said with toys and fingers. And maybe, now here's the thing. Does it really turn you off? Like, is it a hard no? If it's a hard no, don't do anal sex with your cock. If there's a maybe, it's just not super sexy to you, but like you could do it. It's not going to be like torture, and you're not going to be like, oh, this is disgusting. I'm now not attracted to my partner, or I need to go to therapy now. Then maybe you can do it on the occasion. Sometimes we step outside of ourselves to do something for our partners. And like you said, you've been able to get off to the pleasure that they're experiencing. So you really focus on that. But maybe it's something you do, twice a year or something, like, oh, Valentine's Day, we're going to have some Valentine's Day.
Anal anniversary.
There you go. Anal anniversary.
Every anniversary, just celebrate with a little anal.
Yeah. But if it's a hard no, you honor it, but there are other ways that we can get creative. But there's nothing wrong with you. You are completely normal. You're entitled to your right for what you're interested in, and you're not alone. There are plenty of other penis owners who will agree with you. It might not be the larger population, and it's still common. So
and remember, if you're going to do anything anal, use some lube. And Uber Lube is my favorite.
Yeah, the ass, not so great at lubricating itself. No. And that's
saliva doesn't work.
Oh, no.
Do not just use saliva.
Don't only spit on my ass just for fun. Like
that's hot.
Yeah. But not as a lube.
No.
Yeah. I just wanted to play into the role of that whole thing. Uber Lube, you've heard us talk about it a million times in our podcast. We are absolutely in love with it. It's high-grade silicone lube. What does that mean? It's long-lasting, so it doesn't get sticky, doesn't disappear right away. It has no flavor. It has no scent. It feels really silky.
But it doesn't last forever. Some silicone lubes are thick and they'll be on you like 3 days later, even after showering and soaping up your butt or your vagina. You're like, it's still
what's going on?
Slippery.
Yeah.
Uber Lube doesn't do that. That's why I love it.
And it blends in with your skin over time. It's really, really wonderful. It's not just great for anal. It's great for vaginal sex. It's less likely to change the pH than a lot of other lubes. Great for oral because of no flavor, no scent. In our opinion, it's some of the best lube out there. You got to go try a bottle if you've never tried it. And the bottle is beautiful, so you can leave it on your nightstand. It doesn't look like a creepy lube bottle.
One was in my bed the other day.
Your house cleaner found it.
Yeah, and then it was just sitting on my...
Did they put like a little bow on it? Like,
no.
Is there a Sex and the City episode where the house cleaner person like finds the dildos and replaces it with a Bible or something?
Yes, Miranda's nanny or house cleaner person.
Well, anyways, you won't have to do that with your Uber Lube. You can own it loud and proud.
Looks like a cosmetic.
Yeah, go to uberlube.com and you use coupon code shamelesssex. You get 10% off and free shipping, and you can join the fan club. There's literally thousands of people that are obsessed with it, including us.
Yes. Are you ready for a bio, Amy?
I love bio time.
Samaya created Sexual Essentials to take an unconventional approach to sexual education by offering hands-on sex workshops such as the infamous Mouth Master class, Dick Riding 101, and the Sex Conditioning Workout. These workshops are centered around building confidence in a bold yet respectable way where anyone can feel comfortable because they are a tribe and 100% judgment-free zone. To learn more, visit thesexualessentials.com. But first, if you're like me, you like to go big and hard with your workouts. But sometimes going hard leaves me with sore, achy muscles. And that's one of the many reasons why I love Sunset Lake CBD. Their healing CBD salve soothes my body in all the right ways. I even gave some to my dad, and he says it works miracles for his back pain.
I'm personally a huge fan of Sunset Lake's CBD tinctures for my sleep issues. They use full-spectrum CBD with tons of oh-so-very-good-for-you cannabinoids for a peaceful night of shut-eye. Plus, they also have pre-rolls, delicious edibles, including gummies and yummy chocolate fudge, dark roast coffee infused with CBD, and they even have CBD products for your anxious pet, all with hemp-derived CBD straight from their Vermont farm.
Right now is the perfect time to find out for yourself why we love Sunset Lake CBD, as they are offering our listeners 20% off your entire order when you go to sunsetlakecbd.com and enter code SHAMELESS at checkout. Just visit sunsetlakecbd.com and enter SHAMELESS at checkout to get 20% off the entire store. That link is in our episode description. Sunset Lake CBD, farmer-owned, Vermont-grown. All right, it's interview time.
All right, everyone, is interview time, and we are here with a beloved repeat guest, Samaya, who is from Sex Essentials and is a wonderful sex educator. Samaya was on our podcast for Dick Riding 101. You heard it right. That's a great title. This one is Master Mouth Class, and this is also a great title. But if you want to listen to Dick Riding 101, go to episode 223, and you can hear Samaya teaching us all about how to ride the dicka. This one, we're also talking about the dick here. But this is more about how to use our mouths. And I read on Samaya's class description, this isn't just your average 101, like look here and touch there. This is like your 5.0. So it's great for beginners too. And there'll be some information for people who are a little more intermediate as well. We are recording this. I hope it works out for our YouTube channel. If you're not following us on YouTube, go find Shameless Sex Podcast on YouTube and you can watch the video. Samaya's beautiful. You should see her breasts. And
she's smoking hookah right now.
Smoking hookah right now.
I love it. Looking so comfortable, gorgeous.
Yeah, this is awesome. We just sold everyone's on YouTube.
See?
Yeah.
Hey, you okay? So now they're all hanging up from the podcast and going to YouTube to hear what you're talking about. I like it. Okay, the pressure's on. Hey guys. Thanks for having
We're so happy
me
to
back.
have you here. Yeah, thank you. We're so happy to have you here. And we always start with the same prompt, and we'll do it again, even though you did this on Dick Riding 101. But tell our listeners about how you got to where you are today in the field of sexuality.
Absolutely. So the year after I had the same year I had my son, It really clicked that women were having babies, getting stretch marks, their titties were getting bigger, and we get that stomach coochie pouch area and gaining weight and all this other crap, and they didn't even catch a nut when they got pregnant. And I was just like, wow, oh no, like it's set in, and I was just like, okay, that's crazy. And so when I thought about like the stuff I wanted to see and the stuff I wanted to learn, I felt like most of it was like lecture crap. So like I call myself a hands-on like sex educator because everything that we do is actually doing it. So when you come to the Mouth Masterclass, you get a dildo and you leave knowing that you did everything right. You know what I mean? So like even on like my Patreon, I have all these hands-on courses where I'm like, I either have a dildo or a coochie that I'm practicing on or a person or whatever, We even have live recordings of me actually masturbating on people and showing you guys how to use the toys and, hands-on, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, this is really, she's really doing it. Yeah, okay, got it. Okay, let me do it too. So it just erases the questions because honestly, if the way that we were learning before was working, maybe more people would be having more fulfilling sex lives, but it's not, there's a gap and I have no shame, so I do it.
That's why you're perfect for us on our show. We love talking to you before. And one reason we wanted to do video so badly with you was because you were doing these demos for the Dick Riding 101 podcast. And I had friends that had listened to the show and said, I really wish that you all had the video because we were just talking about how incredible you are. So now we have the video and we also have our demo. Karen, I know you have your dildo somewhere.
Yes.
It's gonna be good. I know your rainbow.
Ooh, rainbow dick.
How big is yours? Is mine bigger than yours? Yours bigger than mine?
I think
Yours
we're
is
7 inches, but we are like 1.6 or 7 in girth and girthiness. Yours is girthy. Damn.
Yeah.
It is big,
Who doesn't want to get fucked with a rainbow, by the way? I mean, come on.
I want to taste them.
All the
I want
colors.
to taste the rainbow.
All the colors. I wonder how far it gets. Okay.
Well, we can test that out. So let's talk about blowjobs. This is about being a mouth master, as we like to say, the mouthgasm master. So in terms of blowjobs, and I'm more of a visual learner myself, rather than reading some textbooks on the subject, I have to see it. So I'm happy that you offer that when you're doing your workshops. And so for this podcast, let's start with what you love about sucking cock. And what tips do you have for someone who doesn't like giving oral but wants to learn how to like it?
So I feel like no matter what, like you have the control it's kind of like the same as when you're on top. Like I feel like when you're the one that's giving the pleasure, you're in control and all that other cool shit goes out the window. Like nobody's trying to be cool when they're getting their dick sucked. Like they're actually relaxing. I feel like their guard is down and like you're their favorite person in the whole wide world right then. Like, okay, when you're done, you might not be. But in that moment, you're like the best person in the whole wide world because you're the one that's sucking their dick. And then it's like a show. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what can I do to make them do this? And what can I do to make them do that? And you know what I mean? And so it's like, it's a power play. It is. It's a power play. But also, I like being really good at stuff. And so I feel like men have more control in sex. Like, I feel like when we think about what's sex good, we're really thinking about what the guy did, right? Like if we're talking about heterosexual sex. But the truth is, like, even if the guy sucks, I'm not trying to be funny, my skills are good enough that I can still make it good sex. And I think that that's like a superpower. So it's like you can always recover as long as you're dealing with a jackass, for the most part, if you don't like giving head, I'm wondering, like, is it one, maybe like you don't know how, maybe you don't feel like you have the confidence. Maybe you're not comfortable, like looking crazy, like, like with your mouth all open, or maybe you're sucking the wrong dick, maybe it's, I don't know, like maybe it's not well kept. Maybe he's not, like, hell, that's a question they got to ask. You got to start with why they don't like sucking dick. It's not just like, oh, you should like it because of this. Because they might like sucking somebody else's dick. You know what I mean? So I think the best way to give advice to someone is for them to first pinpoint why it is that they don't like it. And then tackle that thing. Otherwise, you're kind of just like giving a generalized tip when we don't even know what they have going on. And a lot of people have never thought about that. That's true. he kind of is a jackass. I don't really like sucking his dick like that, like, or, you have to think about it so you can get to get to a solution.
Well, and I think a lot of people I like what you said also about skill, because I think skill gets in the way. I just don't like this, but really I think a lot of it can be insecurity. I don't know how to do this, or I have trauma before. Maybe someone was pushing my head down or saying I wasn't good at it, or maybe they were trying to get blowjobs in the past and then it didn't really result in orgasm, so I must not know what I'm doing. And there also is just the part about it feeling like, and we'll get to this as well, but the part of it feeling maybe like work or a job, or it always has to lead to orgasm, or always goes into penetrative sex, and so it's not just its own fun isolated event. Or maybe they don't go down on me, so why am I going to go down on them, which is its own conversation to have. I think that the question really is just like you said, why? What's the reasoning? If you really tune into yourself, is it because when we say I just don't like it, I feel like there's always more to it, right? I just don't like Cheetos. Well, why don't I like Cheetos? Do I not?
It smell like ass.
Because my mom told me artificial coloring's bad for me, and there's shame whenever I eat them, and then my tongue and my teeth are orange and my lips, and I don't like that part. And it's okay for me to stick to that. I don't have to fucking eat Cheetos. Yeah. So it's okay if you choose to say I'm not going to suck the dick, but let's get clear on what that is. And sometimes there's more room to learn about that, and maybe learn to love something, especially if you're in a relationship where there's someone that's wanting that. Okay, one of my questions though.
Amy came in here with the bullet points.
Just here to talk about Cheetos.
She was talking for all dick suckers worldwide, right there. She was like, no, because this and this. You okay, Amy? How you feeling today? She's like, we're gonna get down to this.
Bringing the fire. See here, let's ask, how's Amy doing today? Let's make this about me.
So we're gonna go ahead and remove the tequila from her. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I think I need more of it.
Yeah.
It's a hard day.
It's a hard day.
But okay, so let's move to just because I think a lot of people, when they ask about blowjobs, they really want a clear-cut idea of what the blowjob looks like. And so you're a dick sucking expert. What would you say? It's such a great title to have. So if you could paint in the picture in a nutshell, so it doesn't have to be like the super elaborate
and
thing.
you know how she loves to talk about nutting. So I like that you said in a nutshell.
In a nutshell. Perfect. So from start to finish, like say you're just starting to touch them and then the dick sucking is going to happen and then the dick sucking ends. What does this look like? This could just be like step by step of kind of like painting the picture. I'm sure it's different for everyone that you're sucking off, but what does that look like?
All right, so first before I give this answer, I don't want you guys to think that like I do all these steps every fucking time, because real life, nobody does all the moves every time, blah, 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 blah. But on a, hey, you know what? Let me pull my hair back. I know for a fact I said I was going to give this bomb ass head job. That's today. This is what that would look like. This is type of that answer. And so I don't want anybody to feel secure like, damn, you do that every fucking time. Like nobody's doing all that shit. I'm not saying that. There are times where you just suck dick. But if I'm like sucking dick and I want someone to know, hey, I know what the fuck I'm doing, these are the steps I would do. You always gotta like preface things. So first of all, like when someone eats my pussy, I would not want them to just be going for it. You know what I mean? I have boobs, I have lips, I have neck. And so I feel like a lot of people don't realize that men or dick holders or whatever, they want the same thing too. Hell, even if it's a strap on, it's so many girls that are like, I want to see you lick my strap on. Like they want to see all those things. Like before you actually put your mouth on it and start sucking it, there's foreplay. They have a chest, they have thighs. Like when you're just sucking dick, like just with your mouth, I don't feel like that's enough. I feel like you should be rubbing their legs and rubbing behind their knees where it feels like super sensitive and people forget that those places exist. Licking around the groin area and things like that. Also, making sure the dick is actually hard before you actually start sucking it, because everybody doesn't work that way. Hell, look at all the crap that we eat. Some of us are getting older, or you suck their dick 1,000 times. So it doesn't just, it's not hard as fuck immediately. So stroking the dick and having different motions to do. So like, there's this thing called a lingam massage. I don't know if I had told you guys about it before, but on my mouth masterclass, I have a specific class on there for the lingam massage, or it's on my Patreon. Like if you don't want to do the whole mouth masterclass, you can just get it off of there. And it's like 8 to 12, like 20. It's a lot. It's like a 20-minute video of me just showing you different ways to stroke the dick. Like massaging it before you actually suck it. So now they're getting a dick massage. Like, oh my gosh, that feels really great. Not only is that just good because you're switching up, because mind you, if you think about like people jacking a dick, this is pretty much, even like for themselves, that's generally what they do. They don't really do many different things. They just masturbate in the exact same way. And what I'm saying is like when you manipulate the blood and keep the blood like in the tip as much as you can, it really helps, because even if a guy wants a blowjob, that doesn't mean that like his dick is going to be super hard. And it can be awkward when she's just like, okay, it's on gummy worm. Like, I'm not just going to suck it. Like, that makes things super awkward, because it's like, okay, he's not choosing like, oh, what would make this more fun if I just didn't get hard right away. You know what I mean? Like, I think that it's good to have some stuff in your back pocket to help support your partner if it's not super hard, or, you know what I mean? Or and having some foreplay and just enjoying the dick before you put it in your mouth, because you're going to get tired in a second anyway. Like, stretch it out, give it some foreplay. But then like when you're sucking it, I feel like it's not just using your mouth, but using your mouth and your hands in a way that it feels like your pussy. I feel like that's always my goal. I want whether I'm riding dick, whether I'm jacking dick, whether I'm sucking dick, I want you to be in absolute confusion. Like, damn, which one are you doing? Like, oh my goodness. Like, oh, okay. All right. Like, trying to really get a grip. Like, I want you to be like, what the fuck is she down there doing? Because the motions, and I feel like the tempo, like the beat, like that you're sucking dick to, like it's seamless. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like when people can't dance and they look off, like I don't want to be sucking dick like that. Like, I want it to be seamless and like, damn, she's smooth as fuck. Like, with the dick in her mouth. Like, I like that, you know? And then when it's all done, I feel like if I'm giving a blowjob and like we're not doing anything else after that, I'm gonna get you a towel. Like, I'm gonna treat you great. Now I'm probably gonna ask for like a sandwich or something afterwards, but I mean, that I get that right? Like, we get to ask for a sandwich. So that's how I suck dick. I like to give the dick foreplay. I like it to be super sensual, and I like to take my time. So I feel like a lot of people suck dick and they start sucking dick and the same song is still on when they're done. And I feel like that's not cool. Because it's like, now if you know like you're doing a quickie, then I think that's, you know, that's okay. Like I say, you won't do these steps all the time. But like if you're actually catering to your partner, I feel like you need to set the fuck up. Like, set up camp, get some pillows, like get comfortable. And that way they're not, because you know, like when you're getting head as a woman, I feel like you don't even get comfortable until you realize, oh, they have some stamina. You know what I mean? So now they can relax, and now we can actually talk about if an orgasm is going to happen. But you know, a lot of people are kind of on the defensive when they're getting oral sex, because you don't really know how long this good feeling is going to last, you know? So
that's good. I love that. The talk of the tempo, because there is something about like a rhythm and a flow when you're in all sorts of facets. Well, even when you're in, you know, experience with body on body, but when it's mouth on genitals and mouth on cock, there is like a flow. And I had a lot of fear for a long time around blowjobs, and not even because of there was like, yes, a traumatic experience, but I have large teeth, like I have big old teeth, right? So I was always like, fuck, my teeth are big, and like, I don't know how long. And then the gag reflex piece. And then I was terrified. This is all fear-based, and I have no shame in speaking to it because it was real. I had a fear about the ejaculate in my mouth, and like I didn't want to like spit it out on someone or throw up or so I was always like, cum is not going into my mouth. Though.
Someone's into it.
No, for sure.
Eventually, somebody's gonna wet that throat right up.
Yeah. And I had, and this is a piece that we didn't touch on in any of the questions that we have aligned for you. But if people have fear around what I just will give a piece of advice, and maybe you can speak to this too. But if you have fear around what ejaculate tastes like, you have to give it a try at some point, because I was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't as bad ever that I built it up to be. And I was like 38 when I finally swallowed.
You're 38 right now, right?
I'm 39 now.
Oh, well, last year.
I was 38 when I swallowed my first cum load. So, and then getting over the fear of the tooth thing, it's like working with this and working with someone with your expertise and learning, because if you really do want to deliver good orgasm, like mouthgasms, mouth master, be a mouth master, like our girl Samaya, then these are some tips. So you shared a little bit about your top tips, but I also would love to hear, like, if you had top 3 to 4, and then we're going to go into some of those pieces of like the tired, sore neck. Like, what do you do then? Or if you have a strong gag reflex, or or a small mouth. I have all of those things, and then I included the teeth and the sphere of ejaculate in the mouth. So I was pretty much fucked, but I work hard for my blowjob.
But you did it. You did it though. Good
I did
for
it.
you.
I did.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I feel like, so first of all, let's talk about that taste thing, because there are things out there that'll help with that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think that that's a fear. No, a lot of this nut out here tastes trifling. It tastes terrible. Like, think about what people eat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even like at the time that I stopped eating McDonald's, it was just to a point that it was just like, this doesn't even taste the same anymore. Like, you see how big chicken wings are now? Like, all that meat going in you and, all this stuff. Like, I don't think that that's irrational at all. But I will say there is stuff out there that can help. So one, of course, having enough water. But also a lot of people say, like, eat all this fruit and vegetables. This is a tip for the guys and the girls, because like the girls, once your pH is balanced, sometimes you still don't like the flavor. You know what I mean? Like, because, we ejaculate and sometimes it comes out of the body. So even if you don't have a smell, that doesn't mean it actually tastes good. I mean, it tastes like bodily fluid still. You know what I mean? And for some people, that's a weird it's like tasteless applesauce. You know what I mean? Like, it's like avocado. It's not necessarily nasty. It's like flavorless toothpaste. You know what I mean? So it's like, I get why people don't like it. But at the end of the day, if it was like the cure to cancer in it, I bet people would be scarfing it down. Like, it tastes like nothing, and sometimes that can taste weird. And so there are like these pills. It's called taste vitamins. They're actually located out there in LA, but you can use like code sexual, and they have these pills. So you know how like they say eat a lot of fruits and stuff like that to taste sweet? They actually extract the things from like banana, strawberry, cinnamon, pineapple, and a couple other fruits, and they extract that part and put it into a pill. And so you can take 2 of the pills every day. So they say like you can take it like right before, but my body is not like that. And this is just my truth, which is when a lot of people say take something a couple hours before, you'll notice. I'm not always like that, not with something where my body has to spit it back out for some reason. I have to take it for like a week straight to notice the differences. So I know I tried it, and then my partner has tried it too. But also, like, my partner is vegan, and it has no taste. So I'm not saying like stop eating meat in the name of your nut tasting good, but I mean, if it really hasn't, you guys probably seen that Sex and the City episode when she was like, oh,
it's
this guy, it has the yes,
or funky spunk, funky spunk.
Oh my goodness, I feel like if that's what's going on, if you're fucking them and you're trying to swallow it, you have to let them know. And you guys, don't be offended. I mean, it comes out of your body. The things that come out of our body is not something I would put in a cocktail glass and just drink. I get it. I get it. It's an awkward conversation, but these pills, a lot of women have just preferred their guys at least have it, just because their ejaculate tastes much. The odds are that it's going to taste much stronger than ours. So that's one tip on that. As far as like my top, you said top 3 dick sucking tips. So first of all, like when people suck dick, I don't think people realize like how like the blood works. So being aroused is nothing more than blood in your genitals, right? So I don't think people realize that when they're sucking dick, they're doing this, right, with the hand. And so you're pulling the blood up and you're pushing the blood back, right? And so is your mouth. Your mouth is pulling the blood up, and then it also pushes the blood back. And so sometimes, right before dick, like before it like comes, it gets that vein and it's super, super hard. Like whether you're having sex or it's in your mouth, it gets super, super hard right before, right? So I feel like my goal is try to keep it that hard as long as I can. And so whenever I'm going up, I have a tighter grip, whether that's with my mouth or with my hand. But when I go back down, I kind of loosen it up. So yes, you feel my touch on your skin, but I'm not pushing that blood back to your balls. You know what I'm saying? I'm all the force is more so when I'm coming up. And so you have to, like, when I talk about like that tempo and whatever, whether you're using your mouth or not, I'm going to be tighter when I go up, and I'm going to kind of loosen wherever I am when I go down. Also, everything should not be done super hard, right? I think we see gawk, 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 like the double hand, gawk, gawk 3000, and it looks like, oh, she's sucking that dick super firm. I don't think people realize there are 2 sides to every spectrum. So if I'm teaching, and this is something I teach in my class, like whatever I teach you, it has two sides to it. I'm going to show you one way, but always adjust. If I give you a shoe, you're not just going to wear the shoe. You're going to either go up in size or down in size to make it fit you. And that's what you should be doing, like with your strength and, you know what I mean? Like the touch of your hand. You don't want to always go hard because a lot of guys don't even know what it's like to have their dick grazed. You know what I mean? Like just touching gently or, you know what I mean? And sometimes like that can make them go really crazy. And sometimes they don't even know to request it because nobody's ever sucked their dick like that. Sometimes they've never even jacked their dick softer. Like, just do it softer and just realize, you know, like you guys, like when someone's touching you and, you know, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's super soft. You know what I mean? And it makes you feel away. Like, don't let somebody touch your back super soft and glide. Like it, ooh, you know? And the dick is the same way, right? Also, don't be scared to change up how you jack it off. That is definitely a big one because not only does that like prolong how long the blowjob actually is, but it's something different. Now it looks like you did your research. Like, damn, like she really got other moves outside of like, really, wow. You know, think about when you go into an interview, you're trying to be the one that stands out, right? So like when you're sucking dick, what are you doing that's really different? You know what I mean? And just for like an asterisk, I always ask like, how do you want your dick sucked? Like while you're sucking it. What if this is a new person? If it's a consistent person, you may not ask that question as much. Maybe you just kind of check in every now and then. But generally, like when you first start sucking someone's dick, while you're sucking it, ask, how would you, and say it like, you know, like sexy. Don't be like, so how you like your dick sucked? Don't do it like that. Just like, you know, while you got it in your mouth and playing with it. And so how do you like your dick sucked? And if they're like nervous because nobody's ever asked them, offer suggestions. Do you like long strokes? Do you like short ones? And you know what I mean? Think of some questions beforehand. Read it. I don't know. Write it on your hand. I don't know. But, you know, because sometimes people are a little uncomfortable asking for something specific and you never know that. And making them feel comfortable is going to get you closer to a nut. You know?
And I think also be comfortable getting messy because I'm not ever comfortable getting messy. Come on. I'm like the most type A
germaphobe over
anal
here.
April. But I was like, oh,
Pretty
once I was like once I commit, I'm like, I don't give a fuck if my makeup's all over. Like I'm gonna get on this and I'm gonna make sure that I think that is a point though. I've had friends that are like, I don't know, it just can get messy. I was like, that can be hot if you want it to be. So don't
I
be
think
afraid
also
if you
asking about that. Because I think everybody thinks like guys want a whole bunch of spit. There are a lot of guys who do not want a whole bunch of spit because mine's just going to go to their ass. So they're like, because I don't like a lot of spit when I get head. Like, I don't want to feel like my ass cheeks are glued together. Like, it's fearful. You're so close down there. I just want to know that everything's dry when it's supposed to be dry, wet when it's supposed to be wet. Like, please, let's not mix the two.
This podcast was made possible by Satisfyer. Want to connect with your partner's pleasure even when they're away? Distance can disconnect people, but Satisfyer's new app is perfect for playing with someone at a distance, using it as a way to heighten intimacy. With the Satisfyer Connect app, you can control each other's pleasure devices and see each other's responses in real time. You can also call or chat with a partner through their app with disappearing messages. If you ever want to end a relationship with another user, you can block them. And all of your digital correspondence, like texts or images, will be automatically deleted from the server.
Satisfyer lets you turn your phone into a live remote control for your pleasure device. You control the motor's speed and vibration length. You can create custom sequences for yourself, and if you really like them, you can save them. I love the dual pleasure because it's a 2-in-1 satisfier, so I can get either G-spot or clitoral stim, all from one pleasure device. Plus, you can use the music play feature to connect to Apple Music or Spotify, and your satisfier responds to the beat of your favorite songs. I like to fuck my favorite song. And right now, Satisfyer is offering our lucky listeners 30% off any Satisfyer when you go to satisfyer.com and enter code SHAMELESSSEX30 at checkout. Again, if you're looking for one of our favorite new devices, go to satisfyer.com and use code SHAMELESSSEX30 for 30% off.
This podcast was also made possible by OMGYes.com. OMGYes is a research-based online program that teaches you all about how to pleasure the pussy. OMGYes studied thousands of vulva owners to find out how they orgasm and then made beautiful animated modules and super honest short videos to give you ways to reach even more pleasure. I've been recommending OMGYes to my clients for years, and it's been changing their lives.
We all know pleasure is fluid and ever-changing, so why not add more tools to your pleasure tool belt? OMGS is for everyone. So whether you are a vulva owner or you just love vulvas, OMGS will give you the techniques to get your O-face on. There are 2 seasons to choose from and hundreds of gorgeous videos to explore. So go see what science says about pleasure and visit omgs.com/shameless. That's omgs.com/shameless to get $5 off your OMGS access. Again, omgs.com/shameless. Go check it out. Now back to the show.
Yeah, well, and everyone's so different in terms of what they prefer. So I think asking that question, I think, is really helpful. And like you said, if they can't answer, like, well, I don't really know, just try some things. Then you can ask some questions too about like, well, what about this? What about that? Or like along the way, more pressure or less pressure. What about some of the...
Think of ourselves as tailors, though. You know how like you go to a tailor and like you hand them the thing, right? There's nothing wrong with the item that you gave them. You just need to adjust it to you, right? They're not offended when you go into a shop and get a dress and you say, hey, can I get this adjusted? Like when you're at David's Bridal, you think that they're, sorry, dress isn't good enough for you. No, they're like, oh, okay, yeah. What do you need? And I think that that's the energy that we should take when we're doing anything sexual for someone else. Like, I assume that there are going to be critiques when I suck the dick. I just expect it. Like, you know what I mean? I'm a tailor. That's my job. You know,
it's nothing wrong if there is
Dick
critiques
Taylor,
too.
the Dick Taylor,
and you're not
Taylor.
you're Dick Taylor. That's your new name. Smile the Dick Taylor.
Hashtag.
Well, and you're not a psychic.
Oops,
Dick
I
Taylor.
got
Like
my
some
dick.
people might be psychic, but like not a lot. Most of us are not. So we don't really know. So that's why we ask questions about that. So what if someone does have a small mouth, a strong gag reflex? What if their neck gets tired or their jaw gets tired? You know, these are all legitimate things, right? Like we can't change the fact that we have a small mouth or April has big teeth, or if you have a strong gag reflex. Yeah, I'm sure there's things we can learn. Your neck gets sore or tired, or your jaw. So what do you suggest to those people?
So when it comes to like, I'm gonna start with the easiest ones first. So like when it comes to your neck pain and things like that, at the end of the day, the root of that is still stamina, unless you actually have a physical, issue going on. If you have something physically that goes on, please adjust to be comfortable and keep doing that. Unfortunately, if you have an ailment, that's not my job. I can't fix the ailment. You just have to let them know like, hey, I broke my neck, and so I can only suck dick 5 minutes at a time for now. Like, that, I can't do nothing about that. I'm not a magician. But when it comes to, like, you just don't suck dick enough, and you're wondering, well, like, damn, it hurts after 2 minutes, though. Okay, well, at some point, you're going to have to push past that so you can, grow longer and longer in that over time. And also getting a playlist, just like with sucking dick, I say get a playlist because it'll take your mind off of it and pick songs that are going to make you feel like a super slut. You know what I mean? Like that really make you like, oh, certain songs come on and you're like, okay, I have to suck dick good to this song. But guess what? When you pick all good songs, guess what? Now for 3 songs, you want it to really do great. You know what I mean? Like, it's like at the club when your favorite songs come on, they do 3 good ones. You're tired as hell, but okay, after all the good songs go off, then I'm gonna sit down. Like, and it's the same thing. Like, get through your good songs and then get your pussy ate, So that's my thing with that. Stamina, you're gonna have to push past a little bit, get through it. With the small mouth, I always like including your hands because, like I said, you want to make whatever movement that you're doing whenever you're touching the dick, be so not confusing, but in sync, where you don't know if it's like your pussy, if it's your hands, or if it's your mouth. So you can always throw your mouth in there with your hands. And if your tempo is right, there's no difference. It just feels kind of like you're riding the dick like with your hands, and then there's like a warm mouth at the top. And so at the end of the day, you can only do what you can do. If you literally can't get it in there, or even if you don't have a small mouth, but the dick is just huge, you know what I mean? Like there's still... throw the hands in there. There's nothing you can do. Do you want me to get lockjaw on your dick? I'm sorry. Like, I'm not going to unscrew it to make it bigger. If it's literally too big, you guys, we can't fix how we are. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with you, but there are different ways that you can compensate, you know what I mean? And weigh it out so that way it still feels like the entire dick is getting, the love. Because even if you don't have a big mouth, if you can't get it all the way to the back, still great, because now you can add your hands and the whole dick is still being touched. You know what I mean? It's not like you're giving a blowjob and there's still like 3 inches of dry dick back there. You know what I mean? And then when it comes to the gag reflex, I think the first thing is that you need to embrace the gag. Now, if you're throwing up and stuff like that, That's totally different. Let's just slow it the fuck down, okay? But but if you're not throwing up and it's just like, oh, you're gagging, I just want us to understand what gagging is. Gagging is your throat contracting, right? It's your throat is basically kegling, and it's creating more saliva. So sometimes I make myself gag because my mouth has gotten dry for whatever reason. I'm normal, whatever. Or, whatever. Sometimes I want some extra oomph on the tip of the dick. And so I make myself choke to make. Now, mind you, now my throat is contracting and squeezing and it's all swollen and puffy back there. Imagine how that feels, like a nice wet pillow just milking the tip of the dick. Like, that feels really great. So sometimes people aren't letting themselves gag because they think it makes them not look like a pro or whatever. But it's plenty of people that don't gag and make themselves gag so they can add that extra feeling. Make your mouth work for you. And if you are one of those people that are like throwing up and, it's just absolutely just really uncomfortable and you cannot enjoy yourself, mind you, throwing the hands in there and also making sure they're not pushing you back, before your head, like before you're ready. Don't let them take over in that way. And of course, when you brush your teeth, just stick your tongue out and brush through the gag. You know what I mean? Brush through the gag. Because even if you feel like something is coming up, you can always, like kind of how you gargle and open and close the back of your mouth to push that back down as well. I know it's a lot of things to think about, but that's why they named it a blowjob. You knew what you were getting into. Sorry.
It was a blow vacation.
It's
so
it's not a blow vacation.
No, come on. Well, I actually really think that piece of advice with the toothbrush, it's like almost like practice what you want to achieve, right? So if you want to have your, and the reason it hones in, I hate bringing shit back to myself again, but it's true. That's how I got over my gag reflex being so, I don't know if I'd call it a strong gag reflex. I call it kind of like a weak gag reflex because I would just gag, like even with my brushing my tongue for like 3 seconds. So I started doing that, and that is so, I forgot that's, I don't think it's maybe how I achieved blowjob greatness. It's from hearing things from people like you, Samaya, that we adore, that have done the research.
You are just always talking me up. Don't be, what do you want? What do you want? You're like a guy, and I'm like, she's trying to talk me out my drawers. You hear that?
I just
trying to get some plus juice.
I
just like a coffee mug over there.
Well, I mean,
a coffee mug that says pussy
Samaya
juice
and I
on it.
spend a lot of time together, right? We've spent
we had it.
We do.
Yeah.
We
do.
do.
We had a great time the other day. Amy, we thought of you the whole time.
We did.
We thought of you the whole
did.
time.
You did not.
We thought of you the whole time.
So yeah, that's the thing. I do just love it, and I think you have some just excellent information. We're not done yet because obviously there's folks out there that are the receivers. They are the penis owners sometimes, and we know that you have tips on that you've offered folks on. That are penis owners or the receiving end on how to prolong their erection and their orgasm, strengthening those. Can you share some info and tips for
or
these
how
people?
Can givers prolong the receiver's erection to an orgasm?
Absolutely.
Like, do they have that power?
Absolutely. So, so I don't have one in here. I believe that someone stole it. I had a thing. There's a visitor in there.
Disappeared.
I don't know where it's at, but adding a dick ring at the bottom of the dick, like whether you're having sex or giving head, is really great because it kind of traps that blood in there. So sometimes it can stay hard, like even after you ejaculate, but not just that, like the blood is kind of trapped there and it kind of like naturally can send your body into like a edging kind of thing. But also edging as well is really great. So and when I say the dick rings, it doesn't have to be the vibrating one. To be honest, I don't like the vibrating ones because they never vibrate at the right spot. For me, it's kind of just a little annoying. But if your pussy in the ring are added up and it goes great, please go for it. But they have other ones that just come in like a 3-pack. And it's like different sizes, and they stretch, and so it's gonna feel tight, but it traps that blood in there, so you don't even have to work as hard like whoever's given the job to keep that. You know how I was talking about bringing the blood up and then kind of letting go when you go down. You won't have to think about that as much because the ring is gonna do a lot of that work for you. But also edging. So guys, if you have a dick, then every time you feel like you're about to come, it doesn't mean that you should. Like when you're by yourself and having like self-play, when you masturbate, when you feel like you're about to come, stop before you actually do. Give yourself like a few seconds to calm back down, like let that blood rush down a little bit, and then go at it again. Keep, for lack of better words, teasing yourself for a few times. That way you can get used to understanding when your nut is about to come and stopping. You know what I mean? So you should also be doing your Kegels, fellas. This is really going to help. The edging, the Kegels, those videos, as well as like male sex toys. I have those videos like on my Patreon, as well as that lingam massage. With the lingam massage, like I've done this personally, I've mixed some of the moves from the lingam massage while I was giving head, like not just beforehand. And I was told that it made him feel like he was edging the entire time. And edging feels like you're having an orgasm, but it's like you're on a ride and you just can't get off. And you're just like, yo, you know how like you get drunk and the broom is like spinning around you and you just got to close your eyes and you're just like, yo, like, but it feels like that on their dick. So it's like not the hangover drunk feeling. It's like your dick is like on a ride. So that's really great. Let's see. It's another one to prolong. Oh, yes. The other question that you asked was, if you're giving head, is there a way? You have to know the dick that you're talking about. So if you're the dick tailor, you know when someone comes in and you have their sizes, right? But you usually know, like, oh, okay, when you look at them, like, oh, they got bigger, they got smaller. Like, you know your customers. Okay, know your dick. What are the signs that they're about to come, right? So is it that strong ass vein popping out and you're like, oh, I know what that means? Or is it a leg twitch? Or is it a thing they say? Whatever it is, if you can know when they're about to come and you can, kind of like time that, like when you start getting some of those signs they're about to come, you can do the edging for them, which is switching up the movement. Don't do that movement that you know is getting them there. Slow down and do something else. You know what I mean? We do, that happens to us all the time. We're about to come and the person switches up the movement.
Like, you ruined it. Yeah. Then I get mad. I'm like, no, why did that? Fuck. God, it's ruined. We're never fucking
again. Well, one other sign too, you said like the cock gets really hard, but also the balls get really tucked up into the body because it's preparing to ejaculate and it's trying to pull everything up there and ready to go. You're like, where did your balls go? Like they're
also breathe. Yeah. Encourage them to breathe like when they're actually coming, and the orgasm will be longer. You know what I mean? A lot of us are like like when we're about to come, like ladies and fellas, and that's half the reason why your nut feels so short and so weak. Like you're not having the full orgasm. When you stop breathing, your blood is not flowing in the same way. You know what I mean? Now everything is like, okay, wait, what the fuck? The oxygen, who the hell turned the air off? You know what I mean? Like you can't do that. Your body needs the air, Yeah.
So. Yeah. I think those are the great tips, and that's a way to also work collaboratively too. And I think this actually brings me to my next question, because some people are like, I don't want to prolong the erection and the orgasm because I want them to come really quickly so that my jaw doesn't get tired, or we can move on to the next thing, or I can fulfill my duty because it's a job. I'm doing air quotes, so now I will job.
Because people can see you now, Amy.
Yeah, now I got to. Well, sometimes I do air quotes in my mind. I'm like, I'm doing air quotes in my mind.
No, you do them a lot. Often you do them in reality, but you're
in my mind, I'm doing air quotes in my mind.
Nobody sees this.
To myself, I really am, because we have faces for radio. Okay, you're not usually video. But what about people?
It's a joke we always say to each other. We're like, you have a perfect face for radio.
Yeah. And it's funny because you're all hot. So I'm like.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, now that's why we're doing video now, so that's why we got you here.
That's
too.
why. That's why
the views are about to go up. The views are about to go up.
And all of a sudden our YouTube went off because we're all, the three of us were there. But so what about the people like, my partner takes too long to orgasm, and so therefore I hold back on sucking their cock because it feels like it takes too long. Tips for them, whether it's to learn how to enjoy sucking the cock more and prolonging it, or maybe like the mind shift that could happen there. Or what about the people like, I want to get them off soon so that I can go and enjoy my life and go have my Cheetos or whatever.
This is real. That's real. So I think that if just make up your mind to give a good blowjob. A good blowjob can be 2 minutes or it could be 20 minutes. But what I want you to do is like be authentic the whole time. If you know that like your truth is that you're super tired, but it's like, hey, I want to give you like a little bit of foreplay because we're going to do this quickie, then that's okay. I would rather you do whatever you're doing great than to do it long and half-ass it. Like, you know what I mean? So if you're going to do it good. Whether that's 2 minutes or 20 minutes. I tell people all the time, if you're going to start slacking off, I have someone, I'm not going to name any names, but someone asked her to stop sucking their dick. And that is how I ended up creating the hashtag Mouth Masterclass, because she was told, you don't have to do that anymore. and he likes
they could
getting
feel
his
that they
dick.
weren't into it and they wanted
It just
to end
wasn't
soon.
good
Yeah.
anymore.
And that probably
Like,
hurt her. You know, she was probably
No,
bummed.
she didn't care. She hates sucking dick. So
So she's like,
there
finally.
you go. She's like, I'm just gonna half-ass this
she's
one.
gorgeous. She's like, I know I'm gorgeous. I know that's terrible. And she's like, and I use it because I hate sucking dick. And I was like, that's your truth. I
All
guess
right.
that's half the battle, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
I talk to her about this all the time. She's like, no, I'm not sucking more dick. She came to my class and did like 2 minutes and then sat down and encouraged everybody else. I love you. If you can hear this, you know who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, and sucking dick's not for everyone too. Like just like anything's not for everyone. You know, we get to
Right.
choose that. And so like you're saying, if it's your truth, it's your truth. And sometimes we decide some things are truth when it's just because we have, you know, fear or exhaustion or all these other things in the way. So good for her for finding her truth.
Yeah. I also feel like one, you should not be offended to the point where you don't want to suck dick anymore because of what somebody else's body does. I think that's super counterproductive. I think it's kind of it can be a little disheartening because on the woman's side, when we kind of like go so hard about us getting our equal pleasure in the bedroom, we tell people, you know, like, just because we didn't come, like, there's nothing wrong with me. You know what I mean? Like, you ever got that? And they're like, well, what's wrong with you? I never had any complaints. Like, you don't want to make your partner feel like that, and trying to act like that's not disheartening. Like, you don't want to, like, I would feel very bad if someone didn't want to eat my pussy just because sometimes it takes me 40 minutes. Like, I've had that insecurity with my partner, and he reassures and said, you know, I know it takes you a while. I don't care. Like, I'm okay if you didn't come. Like, I'm going to make sure you get off. Like, in one way or another, we'll use a toy at the end or whatever, but it's still a level of intimacy that we still want to share. So I would be very offended if he were to take that away. And so having a partner that's going to reassure you. So like, ladies or fellas or turtles, whoever's sucking dick, I don't care. Tell your partner, like, no, it's okay, like, and let them know you still enjoyed it. You never know how comfortable that may make them feel, because they may have thought they were gonna come, or now they're in their head like, damn, I know she's gonna stop. I know she's pissed because I didn't come or whatever. And it's like, it's not fair. You know what I mean? That they're having to think about how you may feel while they're getting their dick sucked, because I don't want to have to think about how someone feels when they're eating my pussy. Like, I'm supposed to be getting the enjoyment. Like, it's counterproductive. You know what I mean? So let your truth be. Are you doing this for them, or are you doing it for you? Like, yes, do it for you in the moment of fun and just like being liberating and just being good at something. Yes, that part do for you, and because you want to show affection to whoever's dick is lucky enough to land in your mouth. But the other side is the make sure you're doing it for them, to the point that they're not in their head trying to owe you an explanation about why they couldn't make their body do something. You know, so many people have said they've had really great head and they didn't come at all. And there's so many times that people have an orgasm, it's not their best one, nowhere near it. Like, I think so many people think that because penis holders ejaculate more often, that it's, oh, well, you were satisfied. But no, they get weak ass nuts all the time. Like, just because they come does not mean it was like life shattering. You ever masturbated and like you kind of came too quick, and so like the orgasm was like half-assed, and you're like, fuck, and now you got to do it again because like you kind of like say you were about to come, but you can't, like maybe the toy was like up too high, and so you like came and you're like, wait, but I wasn't really like done. But you came, right? So it's the best ever, right? No, it's bullshit. That's not true. And so don't think like just because they didn't come means that like it's not attached to the best thing ever. Like, edging feels amazing. You know, edging, when you're like circling around your orgasm and it feels like you're orgasming but you're not ejaculating, it means that it's lasting longer. But you have to be doing a good job that entire time. So, you know, while you're doing it, be good at it. Please don't give anybody a half-ass head, or at least don't tell them I sent you.
Yeah, you didn't. That's not your advice. Enthusiasm works volumes. Like, it really does. And like being into something.
Also, people need to remember that ejaculate doesn't always follow an orgasm, and that's on all sides. But there are times when people can have an orgasm and no ejaculate comes out. There's times where you can have an erection and you can ejaculate. They're not necessarily completely partnered with each other. And some people can have orgasms. And yes, there's like training to do around that if you want to experience that. But
Tantra,
I know,
yeah,
and I've had G-spot orgasms myself before with penetration, but no ejaculate. comes out. So it's the same with penis owners. It's not the same for every person, but I know there's a lot of research behind that ejaculations and erections are not necessarily hand in hand. So you may be able to give someone a great a full body orgasm, but they didn't ejaculate. So yeah,
absolutely.
And this is the whole thing with all of the work that we're all doing here, and there's not a one size fits all approach. Like you were saying, the dick tailor, the shoe,
The dick tailor.
Yeah, it's like you have to really remember.
We're totally calling this master mouth class something about being the how to be the
how to be
dick
the
tailor.
best dick tailor. So and I think,
tailoring your mouth to sucking great dick.
yeah. So and that's why I appreciate about your shares, Samaya, and your tips and what you've touched on, because you're not taking a one size fits all approach, right? You might have one partner that digs getting their dick sucked in a specific way, and then you might have another partner that is completely the opposite, or that wants it really slow and soft. So it is about dropping in, asking the questions, and so I would say
here's another part. Whenever you're gonna I have a tip. I have something on that too. I don't think we want you to talk about.
Yes, I want you to share any last words and thoughts, because that I know you have so much to share. So that was the next thing. So you dropped in on your own with that.
I think something that we don't talk about is that unless you're dating a virgin or someone that's just hasn't had sex for a long time, or even if they've just been doing a lot of self-pleasure, sometimes they can like what you're doing, but people have preferences. It's just like us with our toys, ladies. You know, you have your go-to, and it's like you may try other toys and you're doing it for the experience and it was great to try it, but sometimes you're used to a certain thing and you know how to find that orgasm easiest that way. The truth is, like, when you get with someone, say they just got out of a relationship, say they were fucking someone else before they fucked you, if they were with that partner for a long time and they've developed that process with that person, right? When you get with different people, you have to get used to their thing, and they may like what you're doing, but guess what? Their body is still used to how they maybe got off before, or whatever they used to think about before. Like you never know. Like some people are like, oh, I've been single for hell, it's been COVID. I haven't fucked a human in 18 months. Like you never know. And now they may be used to how their hand feels, or they may be used to this or that. It doesn't mean they're desensitized. It doesn't mean that you're not good, but you have to understand that the body has different practices and things that we have our go-tos, okay? So don't be offended because someone's body is adjusting, because two things can be true at the same time. You can be giving great head and their body could still be used to something different. And so you really have to take your ego out of sex. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect or that I never get offended or like in my head, like, damn, did I do that bad? Or I'm not saying any of that, but I'm saying that when we have these conversations, understanding, acknowledging that, and sometimes you bringing it up, because that person may never want to tell you that. Do you think they're going to tell you, oh man, I was with my old girl for like 3 years and she actually used to always do this one thing and for some reason it made me come, and so actually you didn't do it and so I didn't come, but I love the way you sucked my dick though, great job. Like, they're not going to tell you that, because you're going to go fucking ape shit. You're going to go crazy. So, but the truth is like you have to sit back and say, what can I do to honestly make this more comfortable? Think about the factors, and when you bring it to them, they're going to get so much more comfortable. Like, you know what? It's really okay for me to sit in my pleasure. It's really okay. Like, I'm not going to fuck this up and not get head for 2 weeks because I told her the truth about, or told him the truth or whatever. Like, we have to have an open level of communication. And like I said, please approach the dick or the pussy or whatever with, hey, how can I adjust? Just expect it. If you start expecting it, then like you shouldn't have expectations about anybody's body. And that's something that I think that we really need to kind of check ourselves on. Are you mad because, what are you mad about? Like, they let you suck their dick, they said it felt good. Or are you mad because you didn't get the reaction that you wanted? And that's a two-way street, so.
What is the saying about expectations is that they're setups or recipes for future disappointments. If we go in and we expect it to be a certain way, we're like, oh, here's my expectations of what sex will look like, or dick sucking or orgasm.
Or when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me.
Exactly.
That's how you
assumptions
good old
expectations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good old faithful.
Unless you want to be an ass. Yeah.
I was like, damn,
And
she got
good.
deep. I was like, she got really deep.
Yeah.
I think one of those sayings is like about your career, and I think the other one is like,
yeah.
I'm just saying.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you get personal over here. Well, I know every time I have expectations for things and then I don't, also if I don't speak to them and I put it on someone else, it's a lot of fucking pressure for everyone to be like, oh, this is how it has to look. And if it doesn't now, everyone feels like they failed. So yeah, and I like that. And the other thing I wanted to say there is that like we're constantly changing, right? So the way I orgasmed, 2 or 3, 5, 10 years ago is actually different than it is now. And so what I used to like in terms of someone touching my pussy back in the day is still different now.
Sometimes even a month ago.
Yeah,
it can change.
And it can go back.
Sometimes 2 days ago. It depends on my mood, man.
Yeah.
Or like where I am, my cycle, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
And
At the end of the day, I feel like we want to. The best sex is the most comfortable sex. Like I had this poll up on my Instagram the other day, and it was like, would you rather a partner that was amazing, but they would never change anything? Like the way that you had sex with them, it was never going to change. Or would you rather a partner that sucked, but they were like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. What can I do? Are there some classes? Oh, call Sexual Essentials. Okay. Like I would rather that.
Me too.
Me too.
Now I don't have to lie because at the end of the day, what's good, like you said, 3 years ago may not be good today. Like I change, So taking that pressure off and really having an open channel of communication and vulnerability, honestly, and when you can't have that may not be the best sex partner for you. And if you're already in a relationship, because there are so many people like, bitch, I'm already married to this dick. What am I supposed to do now? Okay, you lay your cards out there first. Hey, I really want to be better at sucking your dick. I think I was listening to this podcast and, she said some stuff and I was like, damn, that's me. And you know what? I want to do better. So can we start over? Like, I want to suck your dick and I want you to tell me, I want you to walk me through it. School me, baby. Put on your glasses and make a fun night out of it. Like, I want to be your best dick sucker. Can we go through a dick sucking class, babe? Like, show me. Like, and now it's fun and it's just open and it's just like, damn, like you really care about sucking my dick.
I love how Samaya says school me. She's got a chalkboard behind her. And I'm like, girl, you get A+. A+++++.
I want an A+ too.
Look here, I have a video on my Patreon about deep throating because that's not something I'm going to do on this video camera because I'm not going to do that. But not without like a shot or 4 in me. So, but on my Patreon there is a deep throat video because I don't want to be gagging on this wonderful camera.
So people can go see you gag. So let's go to that one. How people can find and work with you. So how do they take your classes? How do they find you on social media? How do they work with you?
Absolutely. So you can find me on Instagram. It's all one word, Sexual Essentials, or you can go to my website, thesexualessentials.com. And the 2 places that you can learn from me, unless you catch me like on a traveling tour, but with COVID, I doubt that it'll be right now. I have digital mouth masterclass, mouth masterclass, dick writing 101, or masturbation and squirting 101. Those are masterclasses. So they're like really long and they hit everything that you could possibly think of. And then those are like separate. And then also I have my Patreon, which has over, I don't know how many classes I had last time, but now it has over 155 classes.
Wow.
And it's $15. So it's $15. You get access as long as you're a part. And honestly, it's more than that on there because some of them have multiple files in them. So for the ladies, I teach you different ways to masturbate and really challenge your own orgasm. Guys, I have pussy eating classes on there. So don't think that you're the best. Like, learn something different, ways to open up communication. I share different things that I try in the bedroom. Like I have a toy vendor, so she sends me different stuff and I share my real life experience so that way you're not wasting your money or, stuff like that. And lingam massages. There's a pussy massage. There's a 3-part pussy massage video.
Ooh.
That's the one right there. Dude, that.
Oh,
you know what? I think I have to come back again. I think we have to talk.
Yeah, that's our next one. We're doing pussy massage.
We need
pussy.
We need to. I need to come back. All right, put me on the schedule. All right.
We're gonna do this right after.
You are going to be a regular guest over here because we love you.
It.
I'm giving you a big heart, and if you're not watching us on YouTube, I'm making a heart. The Olympians did this a lot. If you watch the Olympics, I like the Olympics. By the way, it's nice to watch people
so
at
much
sport.
Going on. Sports are really the football has come back. Like it's a good time.
Know.
It's a good time.
You ever watched water polo? It's pretty vicious too. I was like, I've never been into water polo before.
They got good abs.
Anyway, they do have good abs. Also, just seeing the hot Olympian bodies. I'm like the divers, though. Holy shit! So speaking of
every muscle.
And speaking of divers, thank you for diving into our podcast. See, I always have to have some kind of little cheeky exit point, and we love all of you, and I know that you all, if you love us too, I know you do if you're listening right now, and if you do, go ahead. go on to iTunes. Go ahead and just review us. Give us 5 stars. We read every single review, y'all. We read them out loud to each other at night, Amy and I together. And you don't have to put some in-depth thing. You can just go, awesome. It only helps people find folks like Samaya who are helping release shame, learn how to be a mouth master, learning how to ride dick. There are so many tools out there for other people. And so it's time to give us your reviews, okay? If you haven't done so, I'm challenging you right now.
Give my girls their reviews.
Thanks, Maya.
Do people really know how hard it is to get to 200 episodes? Like,
Yeah, it's a long
that's
time.
a lot. That's a
4
lot. It's
plus
super
years.
consistent.
4
and they're
plus
digging
years.
into it. I commend you guys. You guys are doing great. You look great. I'm so glad to be back. And I've already put myself on your schedule, so I'm coming back.
right.
So great. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank
Perfect.
you. And thank you
Thank
for
you
all of
so
you
much.
who are shameless sex revolutionaries. We love you. Ciao for now. Well, we'll see you next Tuesday. I forgot that.
Oh, don't
Amy.
forget
You didn't
that.
even call me out.
Now.
See you next Tuesday. Ciao for now. Want to learn more? Go to shamelesssex.com.
And for 15% off of some of our favorite sex toys, use code SHAMELESSSEX at purepleasureshop.com.